Action News, take 14!
Oh. Good evening, U of R. Welcome to URTV Action News. Tonight we're going to find out some voting statistics from this past week's 2006 midterm elections.
We're also going to find out about a shocking move in their school's religious tendencies.
Oh, wow. And in celebrity news, we're going to see who is back and sexier than ever after dumping her trash white rapper husband.
All that and more coming up on Action News.
And now it's time for your URTV Action News!
Poll data indicates the 2006 midterm elections were marked by the lowest turnout ever, with only 17 total votes cast. Harrison Cullors of the Advanced Logistics Research Group said, some 24% of those who showed up were registered independents between the ages of 39, 54, 71, and 73, while surprisingly, less than 6% appeared to be soccer moms driving a green 2000 Plymouth Voyager. He continued, this really shows how much impact a Get Out the Vote campaign that averages $2.5 million per voter can have on the important Milwaukee resident Dave Anderson demographic. Critics say the low voter turnout was only exacerbated by problems with Diebold electronic voting machines, citing the Ohio district in which a local Democrat received negative 12 votes. And now to Nick with Jew News.
In a shocking move, U of R President Joel Seligman changed the official religion of the university to Judaism. Said Seligman, while only 30% of the students at the school are Jewish, 100% of my outstanding bank loans are controlled by Jews. The decision will bring a wave of changes to the campus. Starting in December, anyone seen eating a pork product will immediately be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Also, the massive loads of shellfish being served to UR students will be personally thrown by Seligman at anyone expressing Christian tendencies. Other changes will include not serving food anywhere on campus during Yom Kippur, requiring attendance at the school-wide Passover Seder at Seligman's house, and not allowing anyone to buy anything from the bookstore. Because, I mean, what Jew would buy a sweatshirt for $40? The president of AEPI said about the decision, "Oh God, I'm so happy my nose hurts," while Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert called the move the only victory Jews have ever had. To jumpstart a new faith, Seligman will personally say Shabbat Shalom to anyone he sees for the next month, and recommends that all students do the same.
In half-assed job loss news, after nearly 6 years of much publicized service as Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld announced his resignation Wednesday afternoon, saying that he had proudly accomplished everything he'd set out to bungle. Years ago, I decided to bog this great nation down into an extended, grueling foreign occupation, and I'm happy to say that's exactly what I've done, said Rumsfeld in a farewell address at the White House, during which he urged Americans to continue waging the ill-conceived, mismanaged, and evidently unwelcome fight for democracy in the Middle East. He went on to say, each of my actions, from undersupplying troops with body armor to focusing on capturing Saddam Hussein while Osama bin Laden remained free, has led America inexorably towards our current state of extreme crisis. Well, anyway, goodbye. President Bush expressed confidence that Robert Gates, his new nominee for Secretary of Defense, will be able to fuck everything up the rest of the way. Now to Nick with Staircase News!
In an effort to save money, the U of R administration approved a bill last week which will close the straight stairwell leading to the pit as well as the elevator in the Wilson Commons building. This leaves the spiral staircase as the one and only method of getting to the pit and Common Ground Cafe. Furthermore, the bill included a narrowing of the spiral staircase in order to make the students feel closer, more like a community. According to one official, the straight stairwell simply cost too much to maintain and was not worth the money required to keep it open. When asked about the closing of the elevator, the same official replied, "I think we just all wanted to see a quadriplegic try to get down that spiral staircase." Surprisingly, students around campus are excited for the change. Said one student, quote, "I can't wait until I run into someone I sort of know and have to awkwardly say hi to them as we squeeze by each other. I just love the rush I get going up the stairs, bracing myself for a large human mass charging downward into my 5'6", 110-pound frame. These are the kinds of things which make the U of R stick out to the international community." End quote. The changes are slated to go into effect next semester. Back to you, Katie.
And now for celebrity news! In celebrity news, Britney Spears is back to her hot old self after filing for divorce with her cracker-ass husband, Kevin Federline, I guess we might say. So, big custody battle going on right now. Basically, she's really trying to fuck him over. But anyway, she looks so hot. She surprised David Letterman at his show. Surprise! I bet no one had any idea. And she just looks great and hot, and we're all so happy that Britney's back in action. And now to Seth with Passing Out in the Library news.
In response to the numerous students who sleep on the couches in Rush Reed's library, President Seligman announced the other day that it will now be completely cool to fuck with sleeping kids, given that they fall asleep with their shoes on. To encourage students to partake in this, Seligman added that permanent markers and shaving cream will now be passed out at the entrance of the library. Said Seligman, "If some pussy-ass bitch can't handle their studying, they're gonna pay the price. I'm so sick of this shit where people read like 2 chapters and pass the fuck out. When I was in college, I used to throw back 15, 16 chapters a night and not even feel a buzz." The new policy seems to be catching on quickly too. In the past week, 7 students had balls written on their forehead, 2 students had shaving cream covering their faces, and one really unfortunate student woke up with balls in his mouth. When asked for comment, the teabaggee had this to say, "Ha ha ha, gross."
Last week's midterm election was a fucking nail-biter. The Democrats recaptured the House and the Senate for the first time since 1994's Republican Revolution. Some highlights include Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat from California, becoming the first female Speaker of the House. She stated in her press conference that she is thrilled to accept the position and is proud to usher in a new era where women can occupy a more prestigious office than their traditional cleaner of the House. Also, Democrat Keith Ellison of Minnesota became the first Muslim congressman ever elected. The Bush administration responded by immediately raising the terror alert level to red. Although the Democrats had a very successful election, their prospects are not so great for 2008. The war in Iraq is becoming less winnable every minute, and it's going to be pretty impossible for them to get acceptance from the American people, making this the political equivalent of premature ejaculation. It felt great, but 2 years down the line, the American people are still going to have needs, baby! And Democrats will still just be losers.
Recently, there has been an outbreak of meat spin on the University of Rochester's River campus. Meat spin, which originates from the famous Nathan's hot dog commercial titled The Uncharted Southern Region, is a satirical representation of the deterioration of American culture today. The advertisement for the foot-long Frankfurters portrays 2 hot dogs rotating around a microwave plate at a high frequency.
Symbolically, in the case of MeatSpin.com, the Frankfurters are substituted by spinning male genitalia, which demonstrates the vicious cycle of passing time. As time quickly elapses, there is an intermittent appearance of corrupt politicians. These politicians who go in and out of office spurt forth personal interpretations of what democracy is and how one can choose to live and orient oneself. Throughout this demonstration, we see how America's international position rises and falls on the penetrative nails of the masochism, prostitution, and sodomy of society.
Despite the obvious depth of this documentary, Rochester's youth has drastically lessened its importance. River campus students have refused to clinch the climax of this valuable message. Instead of using MeatSpin.com for educational and cultural purposes, they insist on exploiting the film for the use of trickery. Unsuspecting students leave their computers unattended, only to return and discover a sight for sore eyes, which in this case is the film.
misuse of the interpretive art further proves that American culture is going out the back door. For those of you who haven't been afflicted by the spinning meat at the hands of some culturally deprived peer, it is imperative that you understand the true meaning of the message it sends.
Viva la revolución and good night.
And now to Alex with sports news.
Thanks, Katie. George van der Zwag, UR's athletic director, just yesterday revealed his new plan to increase the intensity of intramural sports. The new system will implement an exciting new Aztec punishment system. Under the new rules, all members of all losing teams each week will receive 50 lashes for their poor performance. All gameplay balls will now be covered in spikes to increase the overall bloodening of the students.
Lastly, the worst team in each league will be slaughtered as a sacrifice to the sun god, saving the school a significant sum of money which would normally be spent on purchasing slaves to sacrifice. It breaks my heart not to see teams taking intramural sports seriously, said van der Zwag.
The problem is simply a lack of motivation. I feel like the most productive motivational boost would come if students had their impending death in the back of their minds. I'm looking forward to an exciting spring intramural season. President Seligman was very much for the new changes, and congratulated van der Zwag on helping to fix U of R's overcrowded housing situation. Back to you, Katie.
Take it away, Jew-Man.
Good evening, Rochester, and stay classy.
Back to you, you fucking soulless bitch.